Scouter Matt, and this is cutting down a tree. First thing you need to know before you cut down a tree. First thing you need to decide before you cut down a tree, do I need to cut down the tree? Why am I cutting down the tree? Well, in this case, the tree is dead. First thing, you never want to cut down a live tree if you don't absolutely have to. You don't want to cut down a dead tree if you don't absolutely have to. In this case, property owner, my mother-in-law, has decided she doesn't want the tree anymore because it's dead, it's kind of unsightly, so she wants it taken down. That's the other thing. You always need the property owner's permission before you cut down a tree. Just makes sense. Don't mess with things that aren't yours, right? This is certainly going to be leaving a trace. Doesn't seem scouterly, but it's an important skill to have if you ever find yourself in the need of removing a tree. Again, leaving the trace. Normally, if you're out in the woods, you've gotten permission, you know that you have to take it down, you can't find deadfall to do what you're doing. You want to leave the stump behind. That tree itself is a home, it's a food source, so you can leave the stump behind, leave something available for insects and birds. In this case, because it's in a yard, the stump's going too. Other neat thing about leaving the stump, even if it's a live tree, you should leave the stump because then the tree can regrow. And you see in this case, that's a birch tree, and it looks like there's more birches growing up from beneath it. That's kind of what happens when you cut down the tree and leave the stump. It's called coppicing. It's an interesting thing. The tree regrows itself. Very cool. Unfortunately, this tree won't, because by the end of the day, we're getting rid of it. First thing that we've done, you've seen, I've set up some string. I've set up a chopping area. Standard procedure anytime you're chopping with an axe, right? Right. So, as a scouter, I need to determine 5 right things about what I'm doing. Do I have the right person with the right training, in the right place at the right time with the right equipment? Well, I'm an adult who has permission from the property owner to do this. I'm the right person. Do I have the right training? Well, when I was a scout, we didn't have axe and saw permits. And I know what you're thinking, wow, you don't know what you're doing. We had something that we borrowed from Boy Scouts of America called Tote and Chip. And it encompassed both the knife and the axe and saw permit that we have in Scouts Canada. Part of that training with an axe and a saw, literally, how to cut down a tree. I've been waiting 22 years to do this. I'm super excited. So, yes, I have the training. We're going to go over it. Am I in the right place? Well, right now I'm outside the chopping area, but I will be in the chopping area where we surround the tree. You can see from the chopping area, it's pretty wide. You need a lot of room for that tree to come down. I'm at the right time. It's 9:30 in the morning. Cutting down a tree will probably take longer than you think it will, even when you take into account that it'll take longer than you think it will. So let's get an early start. Finally, do I have the right equipment? Well, as you saw, I have my axe. Is that all I need? No. I already have, in this case, string for a chopping area. That's another piece of equipment I need. What else do you need when you're mucking around with an axe? First aid kit. You don't want anything to go wrong, but it might, so you be prepared. Aha. And you have your first aid kit handy. Am I ready? Not yet. Chopping involves wood chips kind of flying everywhere, so you need some kind of eye protection. I'd like to have impact goggles. I don't. So my sunglasses will have to do. I have the right person with the right training, in the right place at the right time with the right equipment. Time to get going, right? Let's make a plan. Now, when you're cutting down a tree, you generally want it to fall away from people and things. I would normally try to have the whole tree fall all at once down the slope. There's a little bit of a slope, I think you can see, but there's that larger branch coming up and away from where I want it to fall, actually going toward the fence. That's going to pose an interesting problem, and I think what I'm going to have to do is take that branch down first before I can do the rest. After that, it's just going to be going down to the trunk, and the method that you use for cutting down a tree, whether you're using an axe or a saw, is you're cutting out two triangular cross sections on either side of the trunk, one slightly higher than the other. You take the lower side out first, then you take out the higher side, because when you take the higher side out, the tree is going to fall toward the lower side. So whatever cut you make first, that determines what direction the tree is going to fall, and that's the only time that you're actually cutting with yourself in the direction the tree is going to go. The rest of the tree is holding it up, so it's okay. We have a plan. Let's do. You notice my axe is sheathed the entire time that I'm not using it. Here we go. And now I'm inside the chopping area, so we can take this off. Important to keep your axe sharp at all times when you're using it. I also have in my pocket a diamond sharpening tool. This may or may not come in handy. So let's go. Alright, I'll use the same strategy for taking this larger piece of the branch off that I'll use for the rest of the tree. This is a very dead tree. In fact, it just about made a mistake to proceed with regular chop. There we go. Time to get going. There's a new birch tree growing here from the root. The root is pretty clearly still alive. You can take remove these old dead stems here. I want to get close down to the ground when I do this, so that less stump is removed. Yeah. That's already about halfway through. This is a small tree. In fact, it's so small. No. Play by the rules. This live tree here. Yeah. I'm going to break the rules a little bit. take this one out directly. Play by the rules a little more for this one. Simply because there's a possibility that the live tree needs to stay. A little bit taller. Still leaning. See, this one is still leaning a bit that way. It'll be interesting to try to take this down so it falls this way, but we'll give it a shot. Every strike, branches get back in my way. Remove it. See? Wood chips flying everywhere. Gotta have something on your face. About 1/3 of the way through it. Switch to the other side soon. A little further. Alright, see we're halfway through. Roughly triangular shape. I'm going to come at it from the other side. See the tree still holding itself up. I'm going to get rid of my watch. Good. We're going to come in a little bit higher on this side. In retrospect, I think I came in too high. Okay. There's a problem. The axe is dull. Not chopping as well as it once was. Discovering another important thing to keep in mind. Pace yourself. It's getting a little worn out already. A little better. Keep going. And there we have it. Cut down a tree with an axe. That's what I'm done. Sheath back on. Close it up. We can leave the chopping area. Now I'm going to follow up with the property owner to see what she wants done with the living part of the tree. Whether that's coming out or whether that's staying. If that's coming out, that's going to come down real easy because it's no thicker than my thumb. Then we have the issue of what to do with the stump. Now that took about 25 minutes to cut down a tree about the size of firewood. Making that cut for firewood is a different operation. It's a lot simpler. But you know what? Chopping down a tree is, it's just, I don't want to say fun, but it's enjoyable. It's a lot of exercise. It's a lot of hard work. There's just something about watching the chips fly. I'll level with you. That's what's involved. You see, I did have to give it a bit of a push. Still a fairly good amount of that tree holding itself up, but the cuts reduce that amount that's holding up the tree and let me just kind of push it over in the direction I wanted it to go. Now what do we do with the wood, right? Well, there's a fireplace, if there isn't. There's a fireplace or a campfire pit. I'd say chop that up. Use it for a fire. Unfortunately, the Ontario Ministry of Natural Resources, most ministries of natural resources around Canada, restrict the movement of wood, even within a province, because there is a situation with Dutch elm disease, emerald ash borers, and I think pine trees are also at risk. This is a birch, so I'm not very worried, but I'll still play in the rules, and the wood will stay here, where it is. I might just chop it up, leave it at the curb, and if someone wants firewood for a campfire pit, they can have it. Again, being wise in the use of resources. I'm not just going to throw out perfectly good wood. Excuse me. There you have it. Live demonstration, chopping down a tree. Let me know if you have questions in the comments.